Hello, it's Home Attack, and I just want to speak on the Moonsault Slayer and the DLOAG beef, right? Because I saw what went down and whatnot, um, and I know that D beat him. C Money got him. C got that money, and I've seen Moonsault Slayer's latest video, to where he feels humbled and whatnot. That beef gave him a different perspective. Here's what I think, because I used to clown Moonsault Slayer, aka Vol Schemer. It's funny hearing that name when DLOAG says it, like he's saying Ball Schemer. Well, all jokes aside, I think they just two different people, man. Like I said, I used to fucking clown Moonsault Slayer for not being no street nigga like that. You know what I'm saying? Cause like I said, I'm more like DLOAG as far as street smarts, just being from the hood. And you can tell Moonsault Slayer did not grow up in the hood. Like you can tell. I think he's black too. I don't want to make this about race because it's really not. But there's white people from the hood too. But I don't know. Two different people. So to people like me, DLOAG, we're considered toxic to people like, to people like Moonsault Slayer, who's probably a nerd. Not saying there's anything wrong with that, but So it's just two different personalities, two different walks of life. And on top of that, I think Moonsault Slayer, I'll give him credit for his channel. He keeps up with the Twitter feed when it comes to tech and news, and I feel as though we need a channel like that. I think that's a good thing. But I think the success he's got off of doing that is went to his head a little bit, to where he looked down on DLOAG because he's like, he a hood nigga, so he ain't no YouTuber, whereas people like me, DLOAG, I think we care less about being a big YouTuber and more about, just being true to ourselves. Not that Moonsault Slayer's not being true to himself. It's just that I seriously doubt anybody's going to look at, well, I know he's faceless, but nobody's going to look at, Moonsault Slayer and be like, that's a hood nigga, bro. I'm just saying. And I used to clown him for that. I mean, I stopped. I ended up getting blocked. I was hurting his feelings and, roasting him in his comment section and whatnot. Man, I'm not trying to rekindle some beef with Moonsault Slayer. Okay? I'm not no bully. I just think that his success on his channel went to his head. Whereas people like me or DLOAG, we wouldn't do that because we don't really give a fuck about YouTube like that. We care about our supporters and whatnot, but I don't think we really care about... I think me and him care more about real life shit than YouTube. Anybody from the hood is more like that. Like I said, look, you can see in my thumbnail, I'm a black guy, look. I wear fucking dreads and shit, okay? I talk like a nigga. I act like a nigga. Because I am a goddamn nigga. I mean, let's just keep it real, bro. In case you don't know from my channel by now, I'm from Philly. Enough said. So, now, I don't really have an issue with Moonsault Slayer. I think he's humbled about the whole situation and hopes to become friends with C Money again. Because I think that loss gave him a different perspective. But there are people, like I said, I don't have an issue with him, but there are people, and this is something that I noticed. This is not something that Moonsault Slayer is guilty of. So I'm not going to categorize him in this. there's a lot of racism, okay? And I'm not just saying that. I'm not going to claim racism unless I can prove it. There's a lot of racism that goes on with C Money. I don't. it's just something I peep. I've heard him talk about it time and time again. He's got some racist trolls that he deals with. It's like stalkers, and it has me wondering: is there a whole lot of like hood African Americans in like in the FGC when it comes to Tekken, or is it mostly like Korean and I don't know Korean guys or some shit mostly? I feel so like the FGC doesn't want to accept him or something. I just get that feeling, just based off of just based off of what I've seen. Okay, I gotta call this shit out. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. It's almost as if to be accepted in the Tekken community, you gotta be Asian or Cambodian or Middle Eastern or whatever the fuck, Pakistan or some shit. Like that's what it. That's what it's. That's the vibe I'm getting off of the racism that the AG deals with, and it's disgusting. It's sickening. But whatever, man. It is what it is. I definitely don't fucks with that. So, and I see people. I mean, hating on both guys on both sides. C Money and Moonsault Slayer because they think they're carried by their character. Look, this is Tekken 8. Every character is carried in Tekken 8. And Eddie's not that good. Okay, he's not. If you know about Mike ATL, Second House, he'll tell you. And this is something that this is another reason why I watched that matchup between Moonsault Slayer and C Money, right? Because I wanted to also see what Mike ATL was talking about when it comes to Eddie. Yeah, Eddie is a mix-up character. He can be a little bit button mashy. I get that. But Eddie's got weaknesses, bro. And I've seen it in that match. And this weaknesses, Eddie is the most launch punishable character ever, bro. Like, Eddie gets punished every time he misses a move, bro. Eddie, like, you check him for that hop kick he does. I'm telling you, man, Eddie, every time Eddie, he's just floating all over the place like a balloon. Like you just juggling balloons and shit. Like Eddie is the worst case of this. Like really, name one Eddie player that's won an Evo tournament. Name one. Eddie players are not winning Evo tournaments, bro. Because Eddie's got weaknesses. You can't trust him to carry you into, to an Evo tournament. I don't think Yoshi win a tournament either. I know Yoshi got a little cheap, gimmicky shit. He's had that for, forever now. But, Yoshimitsu's worse now. He's crazier now than what he used to be. Because, now he can fight and shit. And be cheap. Whereas back then, he was trash. His fundamentals sucked, but he just had cheap shit. And if he couldn't pull none of that shit off, he was done for. Just something I peep. And Yoshi, and besides that, Yoshi's not the strongest character in the game, in my opinion. I think he's solid in Tekken 8, but Just in general, Tekken 8, see, I don't think the characters are necessarily broken in Tekken 8. I've said this before and I'll say it again. I think it's more so the mechanics. I think the game is broken. It's the game, it's the heat mechanic bullshit. Yeah, I know Eddie got 333, but every character, no character's playing real Tekken anymore. No character's playing like fundamental. Like everybody's a mass character pretty much at this point. It's not even just Eddie. And Eddie was never the best character, bro. Despite the button mashing. Like I said, he floats like a balloon. Like, you know. You launch punish him. He's juggling, getting comboed all over the fucking place. And that's not a risk that you want to bring into an Evo tournament. So, I'm proud for Moonsault Slayer, for wanting to squash the beef. And I don't think C Money's a petty guy. Like I think he's a mature man. I don't think it's just that after that first time to where that shit did seem fake. Like I don't know. Like ever since this fallout, I'm definitely looking at Moonsault Slayer a little bit funny. And so I can see Money's probably I think C Money's gonna forgive but not forget. But besides that, I think Moonsault Slayer learned. We've been telling Moonsault Slayer forever. Back when I was in his chat watching his streams, I was telling him play with the D-pad. Because the analog stick, you can't, like the joystick, it's going to give you inaccurate inputs and shit and fuck the game plan up. Like, Tekken is a game that you really need, like, accuracy is very important in a game like Tekken. In a fighting game, period, accuracy is very important. It's not like you're playing a 3D. It's not like you're playing Crash Bandicoot or something to where you can kind of still play that shit with an analog stick because it's 3D. It's not a fighting game. You just jumping on top of shit or whatever. It's not like you're driving or it's not like you're playing a racing game or some shit. Those games, like racing games especially, that shit is good for the analog stick, like Forza or some shit. But if you're playing Tekken, no, you need accuracy. And I know a lot of these guys that didn't grow up playing the old games like I have, like Tekken 2, the old legacy games, Tekken 3, Tekken 5. You probably like a D-pad. I'm not using that. The D-pad is played out, bruh. But I'm telling you, bro, like you want to use the D-pad for Tekken because you can fuck up an input and especially let's see if you want to know if you really want an example of why even in Tekken 8, even as scrubby as Tekken 8 is, let me give you an example of why the D-pad is necessary. King got some complicated shit to where you might want to use a D-pad. King is a perfect example. Even though I know Tekken 8 is easier, but if you want to do a giant swing, you might want to use a D-pad for that. Okay? So I'm glad that Moonsault Slayer is taking this time out learning the D-pad. Because that's going to make him better at the game. That's going to make him more accurate with his inputs and, and shit like that. And also, yeah, I heard about Armor King. I will be buying Armor King. Fuck you, I'm not going to buy that character. I'm not buying fucking Rom. I don't like him. I don't see the point in him. unless somebody really wants me to like do some choreography with him, I'm like, nah. Armor King, definitely. I'm definitely getting Armor King. And this new character I've been hearing about as well. That's coming out afterwards. A female character tied to Ogre. Oh, yeah, I'm interested in that. I would buy that. So, yeah, I'm going to get back into Tekken 8 here. Look at Armor King's latest trailer, put his moves together, and start choreography. Choreographing. So yeah, that's all I gotta say for this. So hopefully these guys like squash this, and we don't have. I mean, it was a fun beef, so I'm not going to say I don't want to see it again because that was some good content. But like hopefully like this shit gets squashed and just be like, yo man, ain't even that big of a deal like that, bro. So that's my take. It's Home Attack. Peace out.